Howdy, my name is Oatmeal Ent, and this is Let's Play EU4 Japan. When we left off, we had just enacted the what is it called? Sakula, which removed the Western trade modifier that I had and instead gave me this Sakula. The Western trade modifier, if you are just joining us, was decreasing missionary strength by 5 in addition to something else, -1 prestige per year, and also reducing military technology. This is better. It was quite costly. It cost 200 of each of the monarch points and required us to be at a stability of 3, which effectively was throwing away 300 administration points because we're about to westernize. As soon as this province cores in a few years, we'll be able to westernize. And I'm hoping to be able to spend all of the points before then. So if we have any way of doing that, I could get rid of some of my leaders. I'm gonna make a commander out of my heir. He's free. He doesn't require this military maintenance because we saw earlier that generals' strengths increased your overall score. So even if he's bad, he'll increase my overall score by simply having better generals. Admirals also doing the same, whereas explorers and conquistadors don't appear to affect anything as far as score. I was also going to run around with this boat and use a conquistador to explore this area of Brazil, but you can't walk through the Amazonian wasteland, and I don't have the ability to walk through Spain, so I can't really get over here. I'd have to go all the way around here. See, Spain is really taking over Brazil. This is actually rather historical aside from the French incursion, I think. Although they speak Portuguese in Brazil. So at some point Portugal must have held it, but I know at some point Spain also held all the way over here through Argentina. I only have one place with any revolt risk. I'm really ready to westernize. I do think that now's a good time. I could swap out the missionary strength guy right now for the stability cost modifier guy, because I am going to have to be buying stability soon, as soon as I westernize, because I'm going to go to -3 stability from +3. I know it's a shame, but I wanted to spend these points and get that terrible missionary strength modifier gone, because I do plan on taking over, now that that is gone, I do plan on taking over as much as possible of these people here. I still have a claim here, so I might just press it right. I might just press it soon after I westernize. I was afraid with the 5% decrease to missionary strength that I would never be able to convert these to Shinto, and thus also never be able to convert them to Japanese, and they would always be rebellious and angry. That doesn't seem to be the case now, so where are my colonists? I have a colonist in Manhattan. That's good. Definitely want to seal off the seaboard if at all possible. I don't know if that's possible, but I definitely want to try. France is usually the one that would pick up these colonies, and France doesn't have an ability to do it. Remember, France did hold all of these colonies, I think, briefly, before England stole them from them. Although, even being an American, my American history from that time is woefully inadequate. As far as enacting this anti-Christian edict, I don't really want to do... I do want it eventually, because I am going to be using missionaries. And stability cost modifier isn't that big of a deal. I do want it, but I don't want it until after I've gotten back my stability from westernization, where I will definitely be buying stability. So, and since I don't have any conversions right now, I do have 100% religious unity. I did something rather gamey in the last video of giving this province that was about to become Catholic to this vassal. What that does is now I can't fabricate a claim on this vassal and attack them. Which is unfortunate. As far as the Zapotec go, I could start annexing them now by making a religious marriage and giving them a gift. But because they're so far away, it would take forever to call the diplomat back, send the diplomat to ask for a religious marriage, call the diplomat back, send the diplomat to give them a gift. In that time, the relations would actually probably deteriorate slightly. I think it would take about 40 months to do all of that. Definitely not worth it to send them a gift. Possibly worth it to get a religious marriage. I mean, a royal marriage. I don't even know if I want to work on annexing them right now. I really don't know. I think I do. I think that it's worth it. I think that it's more worth it than annexing these guys over here. Because as long as I have a bunch of diplomatic relationships because of all these vassals I have in the Americas, it's not so important that I achieve this goal. I did want to achieve this goal, Japan is united, right around when I westernized so that I could bounce back some power, but I don't see that happening. I'm gonna westernize ASAP, spend off all my military and all my points that I can spend, anyway, on buildings. So that's just gonna be how I do it. Looks to me like these boats are finished, and the Zapotec is basing in my... So it's gonna... These people are gonna arrive on May 2nd. These would arrive on April 22nd. The difference in that is 12 days, so I'm gonna wait 12 days. Okay. So now these are gonna arrive on May 1st and May 2nd. Oh, crud. I meant to wait only one day. I waited a little bit more. Now, Ceylon, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. We're gonna go with Sri Lanka, is one of my favorite provinces to attack for a number of reasons. Once again, it doesn't border anyone. It is... I wonder if the Maldives are considered... I'm sorry, I got distracted. I wonder if the Maldives are considered in Asia. I wonder if Sri Lanka is considered in the same ocean zone as Japan. I like to take them over because they don't border anyone. They're an important center of trade. They are spice. They do have a very high... Well, they don't have a very high base tax, that's right. It's just the perfect province for conquest. Weirdly enough, they're Buddhist. I wonder how that works. I don't think that they're natively Buddhist. I thought that they were natively Hindu. But I might be wrong. I was reading that in this colonial period, the Japanese believed that Christianity was the new Indian religion because Portuguese were based out of India, and so many of the Portuguese sailors that came to Japan were of Indian descent. So they were Christians, and they believed that, you know, they called India the land of the heavenly religions because it was important in the foundation of Buddhism, which Shinto considered to be like a precursor religion to their own. So they thought that Christianity was the new heavenly religion stemming from India, which I find kind of interesting. I wonder how long that misconception lasted. So if I have a dishonorable scum casus belli against Ming, that means that they've done something. I don't know what it is yet. Not that I really care. Ming is going through some serious upheaval. And looks to be at war with things that... Yeah, Korea looks to take back all of Korea. The Manchu have taken back all of Manchuria. Probably Manchuria. Yeah, the Ming look like they're just about to fall into nothingness. That's great, because they didn't like me. Oh, the Ming are now in a threatened attitude toward me. They're no longer marking me as rivals. Well, the Zhao are never going to be as powerful as the Ming were. I never really have to worry about them. I wonder what religion they are. Buddhist. Cool. A weak Asia is great for me, so when I attack them, they will fall more easily. What can I do? What can I do? Well, I can show you what I was talking about. See, my military rank is boosted up to 7, and that happened just because I made my heir into a military leader. And I have now another general. Okay. That's fine. I would have preferred that happened now, I guess. Unfortunately, now I probably dropped significantly in military ranking because he was quite a good general. My heir is only 12. Quite a good heir. I'm excited about him. May actually be the child of him because you need a difference in 15 years. You can't have children until you're 15 years old in this game. And 12 plus 15 is 27, which is less than his age. So, the reason that it matters is that he might be of the same dynasty as someone else. He's in a royal marriage with the Ming, so he might be, if he's his child, of the same dynasty as the Ming. I don't know for sure. Which would matter for personal unioning them. Not that I want a personal union Ming at this point. But. Now this is a little bit different. Ming is... We've had this event before. It's the Raider event. Basically, the choice is to increase our tax by 20%. That's non-trivial. Our entire Japanese tax in exchange for 396 ducats. So if it lasts for 10 years, we're currently making 22. 20% of that is 4-ish. Times 12 is 48. Times 10 is 480. So for 100 and some odd gold, do I want to piss off Korea and the Ming? My answer is still no. My answer is still no. It's just some small amount of gold. It's just not worth it. It would need to be. It would have needed to have been in the thousands. It would have needed to have been like a minimum of 500 gold for me to even think about it. Okay, so now I'm gonna recall the colonist from here and send him here. I mean, obviously these are more profitable provinces. I want them more. But these are closer. I don't know how the AI makes its decision for colonialization, but I believe it probably has something to do with proximity. So I want them to focus on, I want Portugal's next colony to be there, France's next colony to be down here, Spain's next colony to be down here, and I want to have the capability of colonizing the eastern seaboard, which will run all the way down to here. There's basically no risk. Yeah, no risk. That I have to worry about the western coast of the United States. I'm pretty much the only person with access to that. As far as Panama goes, Panama's a great place strategically, but they don't make a lot of money, and I already have access to both sides of the sea, both oceans rather, so I'm not too worried about it. Fish in Manhattan. Well, what do we think they're going to produce? Diamonds? Do that now. That's a joke. But it does seem like there's an awful lot of diamonds in Manhattan. It doesn't matter, their base tax was insane, so I don't really know how that's going to factor into tariffs. Like I said, to me, the population is important. Whatever is going to determine how many troops I get is about all I really care about when it comes down to it. Because the money is going to come from Asia. The troops are going to come from this side of the... So I'm going to get them up even more. I don't want to like take them off and have them drop below 190 and then have like this long period of... I don't know. Something that Okay, go ahead and lose the stability, that's fine. I was about to drop to -3 stability anyway. Something I want to check is if they were able to convert them back to Shinto. That means that even if they did have whatever that bad Japanese event that released missionary strength, even if they did have it, when I took it away from my daimyos as well. If someone thinks I'm pronouncing that wrong, I've been saying it for 20 videos or so at this point, or 16 or so videos. Make sure they should tell me. It's odd, the Seminoles down here, I also believe that they controlled this point too. They were brutal fighters. It took forever to kill them off. Okay, so now we've cored, so we should be able to westernize at this point. The question is, we have a lot of tech points still. I'd love to be able to get this tech and this tech before I pressed the westernize key. So, why cannot I westernize? To westernize, a country must be at stability +3. Okay. I can get to stability +3. And I was going to lose these administrative points anyway. But I don't want to lose all of these points meaninglessly. Even if... Yeah, that's just not really worth it. So, what I'm going to do is I think that there's advisors that would... Nope, the advisors disappeared. I'm going to swap in the stability cost modifier advisor because I don't need missionary strength at this point, and I'm going to need to buy stability. What else can I do? How long will it take at 6 per month and 7 per month to get up to buying these techs? So I need 200, and I'm at 6 per month. In a year, I'll have 100. In a year, I'll have 72. In 2 years, I'll have 140. It'll take 3 years. A similar number of years there. Although I might be able to get this neighborhood bonus, and I might be able to get advisors. How important is it to westernize at this exact moment? This is making a pretty significant tariff. See, the from gold is applying here. I was going to sell that to Spain. I don't think I'm going to anymore. I'm going to go ahead and spend some of that diplomatic power. Oh, no. It's diplomatic power. It's diplomatic power. That's the one that I want because I want to buy the diplomatic tech. I'm not going to spend that. How's the gold doing over here? It's doing pretty well. Sorry, I muffled my voice there. Yeah? It's not trivial. Not trivial. Okay. Well, let's just wait. Let's try to get those 2 techs. Let's keep our eyes on advisors. Do I need diplomatic reputation guy, or can I swap into global tariffs guy? He'll be worth a bit of money, because I am having some tariffs now, and he'll increase my diplomatic power one per month. Am I actually annexing anybody? Yeah, I'm gonna be annexing both of these right now. Very soon. So I'm not going to swap him out because he'll cut, like we saw before earlier in this Let's Play series, he'll cut the time almost in half. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I don't think that westernizing affects my legitimacy, at least it doesn't say anything about it in this little blurb. I'd love to be spending more money. How can I spend more money? I don't think that these troops need to be here any longer. These are about to become cores. They're very unlikely to revolt. So I'm going to go ahead and take these troops away and set up another colony over here. I want to kind of block off anybody's access to the Iroquois because eventually I plan on attacking them. So we've seen this event several times. I'm still going to stick with the plan of not. So I'm going to go ahead and recall this colonist. Send him here. This should really bump up my cost per month. That's fine. I have the money that I've extorted from the natives. Now, I'm gonna segment this Let's Play into early game, mid game, and late game. And I want to talk a brief moment about that because it's the way that I think about the game. The early game is all about setting up a solid base and sticking to your plan. You saw when I didn't stick to the plan with Korea, it didn't work. The mid game is all about gaining as much power as possible, like I'm doing now, gaining as much power across the colonies as possible. The late game is about achieving whatever you set as your objective. And for my objective, I set getting to first in score. So that means that despite the fact that I think that the ranking system is a little bit messed up, with your generals giving you greater rank improvement when we went back into the ledger and checked it out, with generals having a bigger impact, or almost as big of an impact as soldiers. Where are we? In 15th place. Here you can see that generals have just this tremendous impact, whereas military technology, if I just were to purchase a few more generals, spend the money buying generals, spend the military power buying generals, and then weeding down to only having a few really good generals, I would gain so much more military rating. That does seem a poor way of ranking you. Your troops, the number of troops, your technology should matter more, in my opinion, than having this just like one all-star general, like I did when my previous leader was in control. So it should matter. Don't know if it should matter that much. I'm going to start caring about discipline. Japan is able to get some giant discipline modifiers due to its ideas. Here in... Oh no, I misspoke. The Chinese get the giant discipline modifier with the 6 banners. So I might not agree that this is the best way to have a score calculated, and I probably will make a mod for this game soon in the future and might change the way score is calculated if that's accessible to modders. But for this game, the late game is going to start when I'm just optimizing to improve my score. One of the things I said I was going to do, and I will do soon, is become allies with France, because that is strong allies, is something that matters for this diplomatic technology. Additionally, I think that an alliance with France is good, because my most likely enemy is Spain, or Portugal. France has a hostile attitude to me. Portugal, do you have a hostile attitude to me? No, you don't have any attitude to me. And Spain has a rivalry. Huh. Well... I don't really know what to do about that. Those seem to change over time, although almost never toward the positive direction. There's nothing I can do about that now. We're gonna probably send a boat over to Europe at some point and make allies with the Brits. Then, if none of these guys want to ally with us. Let's just start back up the ticking time. So you were... yeah, so I can go ahead and stop improving relations with you. And start annexing. I want to get, like I said, rid of these daimyos as quick as possible so that I can do that deal to Japan, but I don't want to do that until I've gotten rid of some of the other vassals. It's unlikely that I'm going to be... I really don't know. It's not that unlikely that I'm going to be vassaling the Iroquois. I just don't feel like it's worth it to take over all their provinces and then have to spend money and energy with the over-annexation. Maybe I'll just let them live. Honestly, I might just let them live. The losing ferocity, I really don't know. Aside from increasing the settler chance, that doesn't seem to do a whole lot. So this was the heavy ship. I'm definitely gonna send this heavy ship to go be part of my fleet that is meant to destroy any pirates. Here's an interesting choice. If I have the choice between money and manpower, well, I definitely don't need manpower because I'm at my cap. So, money it is. Would have been a little bit more interesting if I wasn't at my cap. Not paying that high of colonial maintenance. I'm really starting to get a little bit of money from taxation. I remember that taxation was always higher than production. My mistake. I thought production was the highest, but no, still not getting that much from tariffs, even with those gold mines. Okay, how far are we from... well, for the Shinto faith. 200 days till he'll return and I can start annexing this guy. But, that being said, I'm still gonna keep the diplomatic reputation guy. So discipline 5%. You saw in the score calculation that discipline did affect the score, whereas morale of armies is already at the cap because I'm at full funding. This guy does make 2, so if I were considering this to be the late game, I would be taking this guy because he would increase my score more. But I'm more worried about getting to this military technology than I am just gaining a small amount of score temporarily. So that's just an example of the transitions. I don't know, I was talking with my wife about this Let's Play series, and she said that breaking up into beginning game, middle game, and late game was very useful to thinking about such a long game. The Saku Law. So the law that made it so that I no longer had that Western trade, what I would consider debuff. The Tokugawa shogunate imposed and enforced the Sakura policy, the foreign relations policy under Japan, No foreigner could enter Japan, nor could any Japanese leave the country under penalty of death. Policy was in order to remove the colonial and religious influence of Spain and Portugal, and maintain my supremacy over the powerful lords in the country, particularly a different daimyo. They perceived as posing a threat. I see. That is why Portugal doesn't have any opinion of me. Kua Domino had profited and maintained to build up military strength in East Asia, trading linkages during this period. Restriction of trade was the something means of ensuring that no one of the daimyo could become too powerful and challenge its supremacy. So until the death of my leader, I would get minus national revolt risk and plus missionary strength, or I could get administrative technology cost. Now, if this were diplomatic technology cost, I would definitely consider it. However, I'm not at all going to consider it because I'm not going to pick up an administrative technology. I'm just not going to be able to do that. And anything that will reduce revolt risk when I go through the westernization is going to be very much worth it. How far away are we from being able to pick up these texts? We're quite close on this one. I'm pretty close on this one. That's great. I did not at all expect anything positive out of these colonies, out of these provinces. But tobacco is not only something that will have its demand spike in the future, it's something that I can very easily... Oh, this is a serious pain. I'm actually gonna allow... Boy, this is a pain. If this were anything else, this is what's giving me the hold up on westernizing. I'm just gonna let it go. Just gonna let it go. I'll recall this guy as soon as he gets there and send him to Manhattan, but I gotta let that go. Because I'd really like to westernize as soon as possible. One colony is not worth... delaying the westernization and the technological... the technological decrease in cost, the military strength. Maybe it was worth it. Maybe I made a mistake, but I don't think so. Okay, an advisor died. What was he the advisor of? I think he was the diplomatic reputation advisor who was helping me with my annexation speed. That being said, this guy's awesome. This guy's pretty awesome. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep this guy while I'm annexing these two. You'll see it's estimated to be done in December of 11 years from now. If I pick him, we're down to 7 years from now. So that just seems eminently worth it. As soon as we're done with the annexing and we go back to improving relations, I'll switch him out, but we're probably only like a few months away from being able to purchase this technology, increasing our stability and westernizing. That's going to be the culmination of the whole peaceful strategy. Now, interestingly, when I westernize, it won't reset my prestige to nothing. I don't think. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up prestige. Even though I don't care about the administrative power at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the prestige. We have a pirate. Here's our pirate hunters. I suppose if I were to set a single ship to patrolling this sea zone, I wouldn't get pirates anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and build a bark and eventually set him to patrolling. Yeah, see, Portugal managed to pick all that up. Most of the Windward Islands are picked up. Really, it's gonna be a race for okay. Race for Brazil. I have claims on provinces I do not control. Right, that's that place that I've been ignoring. So as soon as I get this tech, I'm going to boost my stability 2. I'm going to spend all of my remaining administrative power on buildings. So this has been cored. That's fine. I don't really need it to be cored, but it's been cored. I'm going to spend all of my military power on a good general. I don't need any troops in Jamaica any longer. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up the troops from Jamaica, send them back over here. Go ahead and pick up this technology. Boost stability by 2. I can now westernize. Going to pick up a general for 50. Well, he's terrible, so not even worth his maintenance. Go ahead and kick him out. And then I'm gonna spend all of these administrative power over here in the mainland of Japan. Looks like this would cost military power, so I can build one of these. I'm gonna build it there. And I can build some temples. Can I build any constables? I can build some constables. Oh, holding my breath on this whole westernizing thing. Just looking for the green. These are not very profitable provinces up here, so it's not like it's super worth it, but I'm about to lose all my monarch points anyway. And then I do believe I can press this button and let loose the effects of westernization. I really don't know what it's going to be. And the process is finished. Process is finished of access to Western units. So check it out. Even with no stability in our entire nation, the rest of everything is so stable. 100 legitimacy. We have high prestige. We've got everyone's Japan and Japanese and everyone's Shinto. Under our enlightened leadership, our proud nation has begun its march toward modernity. Reactionary elements within our realm will doubtless attempt to impede our progress. They must be made to see that the time for great change is upon us. Okay, I agree. Time for great change is upon us. What other colonial expansion? This is just good. Doesn't do anything but good. What other advice came up? What other of these actions came up? Stability cost modifier. There's the national enthusiasm idea. There's human intolerance. The trade efficiency one. And all the rest of these are ones that have already existed. Okay. You ready for a few minutes of seeing what we let loose here? I can only keep 999 power saved. We've gained a conquest casus belli against Congo. I see. The entire map. Somehow. Interesting. I now have met Great Britain. Hi, Great Britain. They think of us as a competitor for global domination. Looks like Sweden's doing well. They could be a potential ally. They're allied with Great Britain. France is still hostile toward us. Spain is definitely not our friend. Portugal is still our friend, and could be potentially a strong ally. Now we have an edge, if you want to think of it that way, on the Christians, and that the Ottomans, oh no, they also think of us as a competitor for domination. Maybe the Russians? Well, the Ottomans were going to hate us as much as they hated the Christians. The Malduks? Trying to find an ally that will be considered strong for this diplomatic relationship. Other good choices could be Austria. Really, France was who I was going for, but they don't like us right now. Oh well. I'll deal with that in the end game when I'm trying to grub for points. Right now, it's all about conquering, all about gaining that casus belli from the idea, and conquering the rest of Asia, and living through these stability events and what I'm sure are going to be something new added to the revolt risk. One of these guys. Now, do they dislike us for doing any of that? And so they don't feel our stability. They feel it, I guess, in the fact that stability is going to be decreasing our legitimacy, which will eventually be decreasing our diplomatic reputation. So they'll feel that in the annexing process. This is slower because we're not the same culture group. Yeah, it's fine. I don't really know how to get out of this hole of no stability. Definitely stability cost modifier guy is a good bet. Well, stability cost modifier guy is a good bet, but I'm not going to have the stability for a while. It might be worth it to buy this guy. Gain a bunch of... Well, my treasury is running kind of low. Let's see. If I did that, he would boost my cost by about 30. But he'd increase my tax by 5%. That's not a big deal. What's really costing us right now, I guess, is our army maintenance and our harbor fees. We don't need these harbor fees anymore. We have harbor fees with Spain because we still have port fleet basing rights. What's costing us in the army maintenance are the mercenaries. Where did I put those mercenaries? These aren't mercenaries. Where did I put those mercenaries? I had like a Big chunk of mercenaries. Here, let's see if we can't find them. Did they sort of automatically disappear or something? Did I already dismiss them, but I forgot about it? Guess I must have already dismissed them and forgotten. What to do? What to do about this budget deficit? I can't keep running. Oh, we are now increasing slightly our inflation by our reliance on gold. So the tariff-based gold is actually increasing our inflation. But what to do about this economic thing? I could turn down army maintenance, but that seems bad to do in an unstable time. Plus, it's gaining me advisor resist westernization. The statesman, it's not like I can do a lot about it, but the statesman, this guy, leaves my court. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and gain the diplomatic power. And I'm gonna go ahead and pick this guy up. I was considering it before, but now I'm definitely just gonna bite the bullet and do it. I understand that this leaves me only 100 or so months, which really isn't that many. It might be time for another extortion war against the Inca. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and go with it is time for another extortion war against the Inca. I'm gonna take these troops, kind of assuming that if there is a rebellion here, I should have harsh treated them. Should have harsh treated them with that remaining military power. I didn't realize that they didn't have a revolt risk at that point. You can't harsh treat someone that doesn't have a revolt risk at that point. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, it's time for another war against the Inca to gain some money. Won't take any of their provinces. Don't want any of their provinces. But Spain has a claim on this province. Allied with Great Britain and Portugal. If Spain were to declare on us, that would be bad. If Portugal and Great Britain also died on us. I bet they'd buy this province if I tried to sell it to them. I wonder how much they'd buy it for. See, because the hostile relations probably wouldn't go away, but the border fiction, desires province, and causes belli and have claim, and neighboring different religions would all go away. And I don't really have any strong feelings about this province. On the other hand, I could always sell it to France, too. But they'll pay me more because they're already bordering it. Well, that decision will have to be made next time, because we've hit our 30 minutes. It was an eventful video anyway. We managed to westernize, and you can see the power of the strategy that I've been using this entire time, because we're at -3 stability, and we have hardly any revolt risk on our entire nation. And it seems like we might be able to avoid the worst of westernizing, the worst of the costs of westernizing as what hit Japan historically.